Well, Billy, how long have you been putting in generators like this?
Since Hurricane Rita, so we've been doing it about 4 or 5 years. We've put generators in off and on for years prior to that. We really got into it after Rita. The demand for generators really jumped up. It has a battery, that's for starting the engine, but also the battery operates your control panel. If you lose utility power, well, there's no power to switch or to tell it what to do. So all your controls operate off 12 volts DC supplied by the battery.
Okay.
And when you lose power, your generator will sense that. It starts up, it'll run for 10 seconds or so and warm up, and then it'll switch over.
Okay, so it doesn't switch over instantly. It's got a little bit of
Not immediately. Now some of the industrial generators, like nursing homes, they're required to start almost instantly.
Okay.
So those generators have got heaters on them where they keep your coolant hot all the time, so the engine's already warmed up and ready to go, and it can start up and switch over within just a few seconds.
Okay. Now what kind of motor is that? That's not a regular...
It's a V-twin air-cooled engine, so it doesn't have a radiator and coolant, and this is a 20 kW. And most generators for residential, light commercial, up to 20 kW are air-cooled.
Okay.
And when you get over 20 kW, then it's usually a liquid-cooled machine.
Okay.
And the liquid-cooled units are quite a lot more expensive, but they're larger, quieter, run smoother, and more reliable.
Let's say somebody goes out, somebody wants a generator.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you know what size generator they need?
Well, there's a couple of ways to do this. You can look at the loads that they have, like the air conditioner, how many tons it is, how many horsepower the motor is, the well pump, the aerobic pump, refrigerators, freezer, and you can add up the kW load for each of the items, then add in for the lighting, so you can calculate it that way. And another way to do it, which is a lot easier, and the way that we usually do it, if we go out to someone's house, we'll get them to turn on everything that they would normally want to run when they're on generator power, like the air conditioner, water heater, washer dryer, and we'll measure the load on the incoming utility line with an amp meter. And when you get the amp draw, multiply that times the voltage, and that'll give you the watts. Divide by 1,000, that's the kilowatts. So that'll give you your load. And then usually we'll multiply that by about 25%. to give you a little bit of cushion, like for motors starting up, and just for a little bit of extra. And that way you can size the generator pretty close to that. And most residences that have central air conditioning, 20 kW is ideal for it. It's big enough to run a 5-ton air conditioner and some of the other appliances. It's not enough to run everything at the same time, but normally you don't have everything running at the same time, so there's some power management involved there using a smaller generator, where if you wanted to run everything at the same time, or everything that you would normally run when you're on utility power, a normal 200 amp electric service is going to require somewhere around a 45 to 50 kW generator to be able to handle that load.
Okay. Let's say that somebody has a gas stove or gas hot water heater.
Well, that helps a lot. That way the generator's not providing the energy to heat the water or to cook the food. If you've got a gas appliance, you're converting the propane to heat right there at the appliance, where if it were an electric water heater, you'd have to convert the propane to electricity, and then the electricity would heat the water, and you've got some efficiency loss doing that. So having gas appliances will reduce the load, and if you have a lot of gas appliances, say a small air conditioner, you wouldn't necessarily have to go to a 20 kW. You could do a 17 kW, or like a 14 or a 10 kW. Okay. Even a 6 kW is about the smallest. That wouldn't run much, but it would get you by.
I think I've got a 7, it's a little portable gas unit. I think I've got like a 7.8 or 7.6, 7,600.
That's plenty big enough to run a small window unit.
That's all I do.
Refrigerator, freezer, lights.
That's what I use it for, is mainly refrigerators.
So something like that you can get by.
I don't have any special needs individuals. I don't have anybody that needs any type of special medical beds or breathing machines or anything, no special medical equipment. So mainly what I use mine for is the
Just the necessities.
Necessities. Refrigerator. I've got 2 freezers. I've got a chest freezer and a stand-up freezer, and then a refrigerator side by side. Refrigerator, freezer side by side. That's mainly what I use them for.
And even with something like that, you could, at night when you're asleep, turn the water heater on and let it, like a 7 kW, that would run an electric water heater. So you could get a tank of hot water overnight and then have hot water during the day.
Okay.
Just leave the water heater turned off during the day. So by managing your power, you can get by with a lot less kW than your normal usage.
I've got a window unit. Instead of running the main air conditioner, the main central air, I've got a window unit.
Yes.
And a couple of fans, stand-up pedestal fans.
Yeah, in an emergency, you can get by with a lot less. After Rita, we were out of power here for 2 weeks,
Yes,
and it was hot. And we just had a 6,000 BTU window unit, and normally you'd laugh at that, but we were glad to have it.
You're glad to have anything like that. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about, Billy? Is there anything else you want to talk about, or any advice for people looking for generators, or?
Just be sure that you get a qualified person to install it. A lot of these generators you can buy from Lowe's, Home Depot, a lot of internet companies, and install them yourself. But I really don't recommend that because they are a complicated machine, and you need to have like a licensed electrician, someone that knows what they're doing to hook into your electrical system. We've run across 3 generators here where the homeowner has hooked the thing up themselves, and they've wired it up wrong, and it's backfed to the utility pole. So it can be done if you don't do it right.
Yes, sir.
So having a qualified electrician is really a must. Even the propane, you need a propane company to run your piping. You don't want to do that yourself. You get into pipe sizing issues. And so it's important to have somebody that knows what they're doing to do the installation. Another problem I see is on a liquid cool generator, it's got to be 5 feet from the structure or from any window or door.
Okay.
The air-cooled units, they can be as close as 18 inches to the house, but we've seen them put in front of windows right up against a house. You've got fire issues there. So there's a lot of things that you need to know to install one of these.
What about the carbon monoxide or the exhaust from the generator?
That's it. You can't be any closer than 5 feet from a window or a door. You can't put it under a deck because these machines do produce carbon monoxide.
Now, you say 5 feet. Is that Texas regulation, or is that like an international or national standard? National standard.
Regulation.
National.
NFPA.
Okay. Okay. What regulation?
National Fire Prevention Association,
Okay.
I believe it is.
Okay. So that's a U.S. regulation.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Nationwide. Okay. Because even though we're filming this in Texas, I wanted to make sure that it affects like the entire.
Those are nationwide.
Okay. All
minimums.
right. And you're located here in Jasper.
Yes, Jasper, Texas.
Certified or authorized Generac.
Yes, we're a Generac dealer. We're a licensed air conditioning contractor, also a licensed electrical contractor.
Okay. So if anybody's looking for a generator in East Texas, Beaumont, how far out do you service from Jasper?
We've gone 100 miles, usually about 50 miles.
About 50 miles.
When it gets over that, the driving time makes us where we're not as competitive as someone that's local.
Okay. Well, Billy, thank you for your help.
Thank you.
You're welcome.